Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're at the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania. And today we're going to talk about is how do companies choose their global marketing strategy? What are some of the things that influence us when we're actually figuring out our 4 Ps, but for the global setting? Because maybe we have to have different products because the people drive on the other side of the road, so I need a different kind of car, right? Well, for example, here in Tanzania, they drive like in the UK, not like in the US, so I need to make a car that fits there. Or maybe look at pricing. Maybe we need to adjust for that. Some places, they have laws that don't let you have sales on certain times of the year. And then we might look at the place where we're going to sell our products. Do they have a lot of retail shops? Do I need to do it online? What do I need to do to get my product out to the place? Also, how are we going to promote to those clients? What are we going to do? And that could be different. Are there different laws out there? Is different ways that people like to be advertised to? We have to think about all those things. And when we start looking down deep in some of the specifics, one of the things we have to look at are what are called cultural nuances. What are those things? What are those differences that make that culture its own culture? For example, in the US, if you want to get around, you take an Uber, or maybe you take a taxi or a Lyft to get around. Well, here in Tanzania, they have motorcycle taxis that drive you to different places. In Rwanda, right next door, there's actually bicycle taxis that will take you places. And those are some of the things that make the country different. So if we're an advertiser that's used to advertising the side of taxis, well, now we might need to think of something different, because if all we have are motorcycle taxis and bike taxis, maybe we need to do something different for that. I mean, think about it. What would Uber have to do in order to survive in Rwanda? Because you know what? It's bike taxis, not, car taxis. So we kind of think about those things. Now, the next thing we might look at are subcultures that are out there, okay? So what are the different groups that are within that country we want to go to? Here in Tanzania, there's over 120 different tribes here with 120 different languages and cultures and kind of stuff like that. And so you kind of think about it, it's like, well, that's a lot of different cultures I might have to focus on. So what do we need to do to reach out to each one of the different ones? Or do we find some similarities here, okay? Because what you'll see is there might be 120 different languages for all the 120 different tribes that are here, but they all speak Swahili. It's kind of the business language, everyday language. The other popular language here is English, so maybe we do like a Swahili or an English language-based promotion schedule here in Tanzania versus 120 different kind of things. But we have to think about that. Or if you want to look at a European example, think of a place like Belgium. You've got Flanders where they speak Dutch or Flemish. And then you have Wallonia where they speak French, so they're the French-speaking Belgians. And so there's two kind of different cultures within there. And are the differences so big we have to market to them differently? Or is it maybe just a language thing? Because that's another thing we have to look at is, are there any, kind of language barriers out there that we have to think about? Now, another thing we have to think about is, hey, how is our product viewed in that new market, okay? So for example, if you're from the US or the UK or someplace like that, or Canada, you think McDonald's, you think, oh, that's cheap fast food. Well, when I used to live in Lithuania, it wasn't cheap fast food. It was expensive fast food. I mean, it was one McDonald's meal could feed a family at a normal Lithuanian restaurant. And so you kind of think about that. It's like, is our product seen as fancy or cheap or what is it? And so we have to think about those things. Because, if I say Italian design, what's your perception? Oh, it's got to be cool because it's Italian. If I say German engineering, oh, it must be good, right? And from there, we have to think, how will we position our product in that new market? Will we go for the exact same thing as before, or do we switch it up? I know when I used to live in Germany, I was always surprised when I go and see Levi's in the store, and they had their own Levi's store, and they were like fancy, expensive jeans. And when I think back to like when I lived in the US at that time, it was like, wait a minute, Levi's jeans are like my dad's cheap jeans that he wore. They're not cool. But in this new market, they're positioned as cool. Because you might think about that. Maybe we can position ourselves differently. I know for a lot of people, if you think Honda, you think cars. Well, in Japan, you say Honda, a lot of people think motorcycles. So there's this different way of how we're perceived, but also how we want to position ourselves in this new market, because we can change how we're seen in this new market because we can create our own brand identity there. Another thing we might look at is, are we going to use a single positioning model or multiple positioning model? Are we just going to have Toyota cars? Or is it going to be like in the US market where we have Toyota as the middle class and cheap cars, but our fancy cars are the Lexus brand? So you have to think about that. And then we have to think about is, hey, am I going to have to adapt my product to this new market? So for example, here in Tanzania, there's a lot of Toyota Land Cruisers that take people on safari tours here through the Serengeti. But the thing is, in Tanzania, it's a former British colony, and they drive on the left side of the road. So the steering wheel is on the right side. So that means we have to adapt the market. We got to sell cars cars that are built in a different way. Now, another thing we have to look at when we're going to this new market is what's the needs of that new market? Do they really need our product? The thing is the McDonald's and Burger Kings and Starbucks that have become all over the world fast food, symbols of fast food. The thing is, when they went to these new markets, they saw the new market didn't have a lot of fast food options. Maybe there was a bratwurst stand in Germany or a corner coffee shop in Berlin or something like that. But the thing is there wasn't a lot there, and the market needed that. People are working longer hours, they have less free time, and so we want to get our food quicker. Hey, the market needed us. I'm not saying they did need McDonald's everywhere, but hey, there was a need in the market, and so if you see that, hey, we can take advantage of that, okay? So you might look and see, if we're a bank, hey, if we are really good at retirement planning, what if we moved to a country that didn't have a lot of retirement planning? We could really clean up in that market. So you kind of think about those things. Other thing we have to look at is the level of economic development in the country we're going to go to, the literacy level in the country we're going to go to, because that's going to influence our pricing, or our communication strategy, or promotion strategies. Also, we have to think about the technical standards. Are there different rules? Is there different voltage and stuff like that? For example, here in Tanzania, the plugs, they're like in the UK. It's like these three weird prongs in there. So I can't use my US prongs and plug it in right away, or I'll blow up my computer, and I don't want that to happen. So I have to adapt those kind of things. Also, we can just think of overall cultural differences are out there. How do people dress? How do people act? What are the important days? Think about differences in religions. What's the day off? Is it Sunday? Is it Saturday? Is it Friday? Is it no day? We have to think about all those things, because those are going to influence us when we're going into global markets. And we go into global markets, I kind of think of like just kind of three different ways you can kind of go in with your products. And the first type of product I see us going global with is just selling the exact same product we already make. I mean, think about it. Boeing, they make airplanes, and pretty much anybody in the world, we're all pretty much the same, right? Doesn't matter if you're in Tanzania or in Brazil or the US or China, we all sit on our butts and we fly to different places. So airplanes can be pretty much the same product anywhere you go, right? Okay, maybe we paint the outside, it says Delta instead of Air China, but it's pretty much the same plane we see. Also, gasoline. We don't need to change it up for different countries. It's the same kind of stuff, the same standards, the same engines kind of thing. So we can just sell that same kind of product. So think commodity products, we can just sell the same anywhere. We don't really have to do anything different to it. So we're selling that same product everywhere. Now, the second thing we can do is actually sell products that are very similar to what we already make. So McDonald's does a great job with this when they go around the world, because they try to take into account religious differences, taste differences, demand differences of people, and things like that. And so they'll develop products for that. So, they do sell, McDonald's in Germany does sell beer. You can have that because that market wants it. And we sell other drinks, so it's kind of similar. But I think a better example is when McDonald's is like in India, where the cow is a sacred animal. They don't sell beef burgers. They sell more chicken burgers, right? So you see more chicken options that look like a McChicken or a Southern chicken sandwich or whatever, and they kind of adjust to it. Also, maybe the spices and flavors in their food, they might change a little bit. Like Coke will have, Coke made with sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. Very similar product, but just a little bit of differences out there. And then what we could do for our third option is we can create completely new products we've never made before for this new market. Because we see, look, we have this whole new market. It's like an open template. It's like the open savanna here in the Serengeti. There's so much that we could do. It's so open. What could we do instead to change things? And sometimes you'll see companies actually completely change their kind of position, their brand in different markets. I mean, I know in the US, I talk about this a lot. Levi's is the old man jeans, but in Germany when I lived there, it was the cool jeans. They have all these cool different styles and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, man, those are cool Levi's. My dad would never wear those, but I'd totally wear those. And it's kind of funny because they really took that new market and saw, hey, there's a whole market we can go into here. It's a fresh palette. We can do something new with it. And they did. They came up with new products to go into that new market. So they're positioned very differently than their home market. Okay. So I hope this helps you know a little bit of how companies need, what some of the things they need to think about when they're developing their 4 Ps for the international market and their global marketing strategy. If you want to learn more, maybe market entry strategies like exporting or direct investment, you want to learn about that or other business topics, why don't you subscribe to our channel? We put out business videos every week to help marketers, entrepreneurs, YouTubers, business students learn more about marketing, business, YouTube, and all kinds of stuff. And I wish you all the best, and I hope you have a great day studying if you're studying for exam. I hope this helps you learn a little bit more about business and marketing and going abroad. And if you go to our other channel, we actually have videos about going to the Serengeti as well. Anyway, I'll say bye from Tanzania.